Absolute chaos at Parkhead as Celtic implode days before the Old Firm. Brendan Rodgers walks, Martin O'Neill returns from the footballing grave, and Rangers are primed to take full advantage. But that's just the start. Youssef Chermiti finally finds the net, and then sparks outrage with a wild celebration that's got legends like Barry Ferguson fuming. Meanwhile, Derek Cornelius puts in a monstrous performance, 107 touches, pure dominance, catapulting himself into the undroppable tier alongside Raskin. And as pressure builds, has Danilo just risen from the ashes to become Rohl's very own Lawrence Shankland? Stay locked in. We are the people. Right then, sit yourself down and get ready for a roller coaster of Rangers drama, scandal, and opportunity, because the blue side of Glasgow is right at the center of a seismic shift in Scottish football. Let's get stuck in. First up, you'll love this. Rangers under Danny Rohl have not only found their feet, they've sent a real message with a 3-1 win over Kilmarnock at Ibrox. Danilo, Derek Cornelius, and Youssef Chermiti got the job done, and just in time, because there's a storm brewing in the east end of Glasgow. Brendan Rodgers is gone, walked out the door at Celtic with barely a whimper, just days before the Premier Sports Cup semi-final. You couldn't script it, and in comes Martin O'Neill. A blast from the past, dragged out the attic like an old VHS tape, hoping his throwback methods will somehow click in the modern game. Now, Martin O'Neill's already had his say about our man Rohl. He said the lack of experience might be a blessing in disguise because folk won't know how to handle him. You can hear the condescension dripping off his words, can't you? But here's the thing. Rohl's CV might be short on head coach roles, but he's been soaking in world-class coaching alongside Hansi Flick and at Bayern Munich. You tell me, who's more in touch with today's game, Rohl or a manager who last did anything of note before smartphones were in every pocket? Now it's a head-to-head. The fresh, tactical modernizer from Germany against the Parkhead dinosaur dusted off for one more go. You couldn't ask for a better setup. And let's not forget, Rohl's not just battling Celtic, he's facing their chaos. Because what's going on over there is an absolute circus. Dermot Desmond dropped a club statement that can only be described as bonkers. Honestly, it reads like a tantrum, pointing the finger at Rodgers for poor communication, calling him toxic while conveniently ignoring the lack of transfer business that sparked this mess in the first place. You know it's bad when even their own supporters are turning on the board days before a cup semi-final. Meanwhile, Rangers are sharpening their blades. Rohl's brought calm, structure, and a spark. There's real belief in the air at Ibrox, and for good reason. Celtic are rudderless, and you've seen this movie before. This is the perfect moment to strike, and Rohl knows it. If he takes Rangers to a cup final just 4 games into his reign by dismantling a Celtic side in full-blown meltdown, it changes the whole tone of the season. Let's not kid ourselves. This Old Firm clash means everything. It's not just about silverware now. It's about pride, authority, and who owns Glasgow. Heading into the winter, if Danny Rohl guides Rangers past a crumbling Celtic and into the cup final, does that officially mark the end of the so-called Rodgers era? And should Rangers fans start calling this a power shift in Scottish football? Right, let's shift focus to a flashpoint that's got tongues wagging across Ibrox and beyond, because while Rangers picked up a massive 3 points against Kilmarnock, not everyone's pleased with how it played out, and one name is at the center of it all: Youssef Chermiti. Now, after weeks of scrutiny, the Portuguese striker finally got off the mark. A sweetly hit, swerving strike gave Rangers breathing space and sealed a much-needed 3-1 victory. You'd think that would be the story. You'd think folk would be talking about momentum, goals, belief, but instead, all the chat's about that celebration rather than running to the fans, badge pounding or arms outstretched like he's finally found his place. Chermiti decided to make a talking gesture clear as day, a shot aimed at the critics, the pundits, and maybe, just maybe, the Ibrox crowd itself. Barry Ferguson, never one to mince his words, wasn't having it. Said he should have celebrated with the fans, smiled, and got back in position. Peter Grant from the Celtic camp chipped in as well, saying the one group you never turn on is your own supporters, and let's be honest, they're not wrong. Look, Rangers paid £8 million, rising to 10 for a lad who didn't register a single senior goal or assist in 2 years at Everton. The fans had every right to question that deal, and let's not pretend otherwise. The pressure was always going to be massive the moment he pulled on the shirt. But instead of using that goal to build a bridge, Chermiti might have just thrown petrol on the fire. You've also got Ross McCormack adding to the pile-on, saying James Tavernier will almost certainly have had a quiet word in the dressing room. In his words, the fans will make or break you at Rangers, and if Chermiti doesn't grasp that now, he's in for a long, cold winter. And if Chermiti thinks one goal gives him a free pass to start mouthing off, he's badly mistaken. Kevin Thelwell, who sanctioned this signing, is already under fire for a series of missteps in the transfer market. The squad's thinner, less effective, and lacking spark in key areas. And Chermiti, so far, hasn't justified a penny of that £10 million price tag. Rangers supporters are loyal, but only if you show graft, hunger, and respect for the badge. One goal is a start, sure, but the attitude, that's not what this club is built on. Does Chermiti's celebration show that he doesn't understand what it truly means to play for Rangers? And if he doesn't shape up mentally, should Danny Rohl just cut his losses and look elsewhere in January? While most of the headlines focused on Chermiti's goal and bizarre celebration, let's not lose sight of the real striker's performance, the one that could quietly reshape Rangers' season. Danilo, the Brazilian, the man signed for £6 million from Feyenoord and touted as an exciting player who likes to create and score goals. Well, on Sunday, he finally showed you why. His movement, timing, and clinical finish. It was only one touch for the goal, but that's all a proper number 9 needs. He only had 18 touches all game, fewer than Jack Butland, but when it mattered, he made it count. That's what separates poachers from passengers. He was smart, instinctive, and direct, the kind of striker who thrives under pressure. Now, Rangers were heavily linked with Lawrence Shankland in the summer, a boyhood blue-nose free agent for a hot minute and banging them in for Hearts like it's his personal crusade. 8 goals already this season, 5 in the Premiership, and he just rattled one in against Celtic during Hearts' 3-1 demolition of them at Tyne Castle. You read that right, Hearts are top, 8 points clear, and their fans are dreaming of 1984 all over again, and yet Rangers didn't move for him. They gambled instead on Chermiti and Miovski, who so far look like shadows of what Dezers and Hamza Igamane brought, never mind what's required, to win titles. So the big question, do you really need to look elsewhere when you've already got someone like Danilo in the building? He's been written off, no doubt. 2 injury-plagued years, barely seen under Russell Martin, left for dead while the club went scattergun in the summer market. But maybe, just maybe, under Rohl's new setup, with 2 strikers in play and a team pressing with purpose, Danilo becomes the talisman you've been crying out for. Look at what Shankland's doing for Hearts, one striker hitting form, dragging a team to the top. Now ask yourself, could Danilo become that man for Rangers if he keeps this up? Is there any need to waste another £10 million chasing strikers abroad? Or is Danilo the proven Premiership predator who was right under Rangers' nose all along? You've heard all about Raskin. Everyone knows he should never have been left in the stand, especially by a man like Russell Martin, who probably couldn't spot talent in a room full of Ballon d'Ors. Raskin's return to the starting sound was obvious, inevitable, and long overdue. But here's the twist. While Raskin has rightly reclaimed his place, it's Derek Cornelius who might just be the biggest revelation yet under Rohl. Against Kilmarnock, the Canadian was nothing short of monstrous. A goal? Check. Most shots on target of anyone on the park. 100% dribble success. You read that right. From a centre-back. And in 15 duels contested, 8-1, 10 defensive actions, and 75 accurate passes. That's not just a solid outing. That's domination. That's a player announcing himself at Ibrox with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. And here's the kicker. He touched the ball 107 times. That's more than most midfielders manage in a fortnight. He was everywhere, winning headers, stepping up in possession, organizing the back line, and scoring goals. Leadership? It's no longer a talking point, it's a fact. Cornelius might have arrived as just another name on a bloated list of summer signings. Let's not sugarcoat it. Most of those names have flattered to deceive. From Thelo Arsgaard to Jaden Magoma, the recruitment was scattergun at best, baffling at worst. But Cornelius, he's already looking like the bargain of the window, and it's not even Christmas. He's formed a solid partnership with John Sutar, and with massive games looming, Hibs away, the Celtic clash at Hampden, and Roma in Europe, Rangers can't afford passengers. Rohl needs soldiers, and Cornelius has already shown he's not just ready for battle, he's commanding it. You're looking at a defender who's walked straight into the undroppable bracket. Alongside Raskin and perhaps Gassama, there are few others you can trust in this squad right now. So here's what I want to know. With Cornelius already outperforming some of Rangers' biggest names, should he be wearing the armband sooner than later? And is it time to accept that the best leaders in this squad might not be the ones with the longest Ibrox CVs? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit like to support the channel. I bring you daily Rangers updates, so subscribe now and don't miss a thing. See you soon.